My name is Bernie Zadrowski with a Z. I'm running for Justice of the Peace, Department 14. I will be the last guy on the last page of the ballot, somewhere below Malapa Valley Water District and Overton Power District, I think. The very bottom. A little bit about myself. I have been in town for almost 14 years now. I have been employed at the District Attorney's Office. In fact, right now I run the DA check fraud division, where I've been collecting restitution on behalf of victims of bad checks for the last almost 6 years now. Prior to that, I was a district attorney in the what I would consider the regular criminal section, prosecuting everything from petty larceny to first-degree murder. I went to law school at the University of Denver College of Law. I graduated in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Prior to that, I studied theater at the American Academy in New York City, where I lived and played for about 5 years. Before that, I was an undergrad at the University of Colorado at Boulder. Before that, I don't know that that matters. I can't remember that far back, but yeah, so I think there's a background, but I think probably the most important thing that you need to know about me is that I'm currently practicing law in the very courtroom that I am looking to be elected in, that is Justice Court. I spend every day for the last 13 years in Justice Court as a criminal deputy. I also want to mention that in addition to my time as a prosecutor, I've also been teaching for the last 13 years at the College of Southern Nevada, formerly the Community College of Southern Nevada, and I've taught criminal law, juvenile law, criminal procedure, constitutional law over the last almost 13 years there. So I hope that's enough of a background. If there's anything else anybody else wants to know about him, I'm open.
Thank you, Bernie. Mike Mazur, and I wanted to clarify for the record as well, I'm not a veteran either. Question for you, why do you want to be judge in this seat? And then subpart to that, what challenges do you see in the justice courts currently?
I'm really into fashion and I really dig that black robe. Bernie Zadrowski.
Judge Bennett has a purple one.
It's beautiful. It's fabulous. I want to be a judge because I think I can do this community some good. I think I bring a very unique perspective to the bench. I have, I think, a unique background that really lends itself perfectly for the bench, and that is, yes, I've been a prosecutor for almost 14 years, so I've been practicing in that department, but I've not always been a Boy Scout, as many of you know, my entire life. As a young man, I did a lot of things that would perhaps be described as transgressing the law. And I paid for those things. I learned a hard lesson in life, growing up poor, without monetary means, a family that just barely got by. And I think having gone to the School of Hard Knocks when I was a young man and growing up with a difficult in a difficult environment also allows me to have a perspective from the bench in the people's court, and that really is what Justice Court is. It allows me to have a perspective on the bench where I've been there. I know where a lot of these people that come through Justice Court, especially in the areas of the minor misdemeanors, the things that are the majority of the business in Justice Court. I've been there. I know what happens when you're young and you're poor. Does that mean that because I'm I believe compassionate and understanding, that I'm easy? Absolutely not. Anybody who's ever dealt with me in the DA's office in court knows that I've been a tough prosecutor, but most importantly to me, I've always been fair. And I believe I can take that fairness to the bench, and I think I can be a good judge. I think I can be a good steward for the people of Las Vegas Township, for Clark County as a whole.
Thank you. And then what challenges do you see in the district or in the justice courts currently?
The biggest challenge that I see right now is that we've got the busiest courtroom in the entire country. There is no question about it. Any way you chop it up, it is the busiest courtroom in the entire country. So the challenge is getting through a lot of cases and still ensuring that the people that come before you are given their day in court, that justice is provided to everybody. That is the biggest challenge, and I think I have some ideas, perhaps somebody will ask me about that. I have some ideas about how we go about making sure that people get justice, yet we're still able to move cases along for the public, be fair, be tough, but provide justice most importantly. I've got some good ideas there.
I have no questions for you.
Thank you.
David Rivers. Bernie, the state of Washington has recently found that its prohibition against felons exercising the right to vote, unless their civil rights have been restored, they found that unconstitutional. Nevada's constitutional contains a similar provision. Do you believe that provision to be unconstitutional as well?
Bernie Sadrowski, I believe that a person, let me back up a minute. Let me give you my basic understanding of felons and people who transgress. I think this country is wonderful in that it gives people opportunities. It even goes so far as to give people opportunities who have, who take advantage of all the largesse that our country gives, and they don't give anything, but still the country's good to them. And that is reflected in our laws. I also believe that, again, going back to the statement I made earlier about being tough but fair, I think our laws have to be tough on people, and the laws have to reflect our values as a society. You have to draw the line somewhere. Sometimes you have to draw a line in the sand and you say, don't pass this up, otherwise there are going to be repercussions. And in that respect, I believe that ex-felons, people who can commit felonies that are convicted of them, should never get the right to vote, ever. I sincerely believe that. I think that is one of the things you lose when you commit a felony that you're convicted of. Is it within the realm of states to determine whether or not they give felons their right to vote back? I think that that is. I think every state has that right to determine for themselves whether or not they choose to give that back to them for state offices. I wouldn't take that away from the states, but I do believe personally that it is inappropriate and that there are certain things you lose in this great country of ours. You break the law in a significant way, and felonies are clearly significant. You do that, and you have to lose something because it has to reflect the values of our society. I hope I answered your question.